Welcome to our brand new series of the Birth and Baby Business Show, which we are calling Lessons from a Birth or Baby Business Owner. And we'll be speaking to those who are in or have been in the birth and baby business world to ask them the questions that you'd like to know the answer to on how they got to where they are in the business world right now. My name's Anna LaGrange, and I'm one half of Baba Business, the Birth and Baby Business Academy.
And my name is Liz Stamford, and I'm the other half of Baba Business, the community membership for birth and baby business owners. So today we're super excited because we have got the lovely Cheryl Kennedy MacDonald, and we are going to be, we're definitely going to really enjoy this because we're big fangirls of Cheryl. So let me introduce Cheryl properly. So Cheryl is a mum of one from Glasgow, currently living in Singapore. And we've just established she's been in Singapore for 10 years, so a decade of her life living in that amazing place. Mm-hmm. And she has been teaching yoga for 20 years and started YogaBellies on maternity leave 15 years ago. Cheryl is a Dragon's Den winner, celebrity yoga teacher, and has trained over 500 perinatal yoga teachers worldwide. She is the author and creator of the Birth Rocks method, a yoga master and psychotherapist working with women throughout life. I mean, what a bio. I don't know where to start, apart from, I think maybe the best place is for you to, if you wouldn't mind telling us, why did you start your business, like YogaBellies, initially? What led to that?
Right, so in a past life, I was a business analyst, and I was really bad at it. I hated it. And I just was not built to work in an office, And but I loved yoga. I'd been doing yoga since I was like 17, 18. And I had trained, so it was before the internet, like one of these online courses in yoga teacher training. It was like, was it the British School of Yoga, and they sent you out the book and you filled in the answers and you sent it back, right? And I did this.
Oh, wow.
And I became a yoga teacher that way, right? So that was what you did, and that was great. So I was like kind of teaching yoga in the evenings after my work. But I wasn't charging any money. I was just doing it for free, for fun, for my friends and stuff like that. And then I was actually exhausted because I was working really long hours as well. And then I got married. I was thinking about having babies. And I had a really strong Ashtanga practice at the time, right? So it was like 6 days a week, 90 minutes a day. Like, I don't know how much you know about Ashtanga, but it's like handstands, really like super strong practice, right? Wow. I looked like a bodybuilder. It was a good look. But the fact is my periods stopped altogether, right? Oh. So I was thinking, like, this does not bode well. Like, I'm thinking about having babies in the next year. So I kind of, and I was thinking, why am I not getting all these benefits? Like, I look the part, everyone thinks I'm dead fit and healthy, but actually my hormones are awful. I feel absolutely mental. And like, how am I going to get pregnant if I haven't got a period? So I kind of really started to look into different things. I trained in prenatal and postnatal yoga, and I also trained in hypnobirthing because I was terrified of the thought of giving birth, right? As much as I wanted to have a baby, I was like, there has got to be a better way to do this, right? Because that does not look fun. So I trained in hypnobirthing, so like I kind of got all this knowledge. And then like when I got pregnant myself, I was like looking for a pregnancy yoga class, and I went to this one, and this one was definitely not a yoga teacher, right? And there was like 30 or 40 of us rammed into a freezing cold church hall. 2 big lines, no one spoke to each other, everyone was just like, and it was, honestly, it was terrible. It was like 2 hours, just tragic, right? And I was like, this is absolutely mince. This has to be better, right? So then I get made redundant on maternity leave. So I thought to myself, I wonder if I could actually see if I could make a living from teaching yoga, right? So when Kaelin was born, he was about 6 weeks old, I started teaching classes in the spare bedroom, right? So I changed it into a wee studio. I put like big mirrors in the wall, cleared all the furniture and stuff, made it in a wee studio, and I could get about 12 people in. So I started teaching prenatal yoga in the evening, and I'd take like my baby monitor in with me, and I'd sit it at the end of my mat, and I'd just like teach. And then I started doing the mum and baby like during the day, and I would take Kaelin along, and he'd be like my baby massage demo doll. So that was great until he started getting mobile, right? So he loved it as well, all the other babies. And I met loads of mum friends as well, which was awesome. It was really nice. So, and I'm still like really good friends with so many of those women that came to my first classes. But it grew really, really quickly. And I was a victim of my own success. I was just wanting to teach a wee part-time class, so I didn't need to go back to work. And then I was like, all right, I need to run another one. I haven't got time. I need to run another one. And so we changed the living room into a studio so that I could get 20 in, and we put the living room up in the spare bedroom, right?
Wow.
So because I had so many people, I had like a waiting list about 2 months long, and it was just nuts. So I was like, right, I need to get other people to help me to do this. But I had a very specific method in the way that I did it. And I was like, I don't want people to mess this up. And I want a nice vibe. I want it to be friendly for mums. Like YogaBellies is a lot about the community. And like we did a big survey, and like 86% of the women that come to our classes have never done any yoga before. So I like to think it's, it's kind of inclusive and people are not intimidated by it.
Yeah.
And certainly our teachers as well are just kind of like just down to earth mums that love yoga, just normal people. And that's the kind of vibe. So, so then I started training other teachers, and then that grew. And then I joined this like wee business incubator thing. And I somehow ended up applying for Dragon's Den. And you know that when you do it online, you never think. And the guy literally phoned me 20 minutes later, and he was like, can you come down to Manchester? Tell me more about your business. Can you come down to Manchester for an interview? I was like, oh my God, right, okay, cool. So I was on the phone to him for about an hour, and then I made Mike come with me because I was like, there's no way I'm doing this myself, right? Because I can't count. And I just had like visions of Peter Jones asking me how much money I made, and I would be like, I have no idea. So I was like, I'll get destroyed. I know, because Mike did the bookkeeping for me. So I was like, I'll get destroyed if I go on this. Like, there's no way I'm doing it alone. So he get dragged into it. And then we did the interview, and they liked it and stuff. And then it was like going to be on 9 months later. So we weren't allowed to tell anyone. And we were like, oh my God, we were dying to tell everyone, right? So, but I had like all the PR set up for like press releases to go out the day when on the TV and stuff. And then we were like, I don't even know if anyone watches this anymore. So like we really had no idea what to expect. And I was like sitting watching it with my assistant, and then like Facebook started going bing, 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 bing. And I was like, oh my God, you're on Dragon's Den. And then like the website broke, and like everything just exploded. And like I had to bring in extra admin staff to take care of all the like applications. We got like 200 applications that night. It was mental.
Wow.
Like just everybody wanted to join. So, and we were just sitting like that. Didn't even think anyone watched us. So that was great. So things really grew from there. And that was it.
Oh my God, I don't know what to say. I don't know where to start. I feel like that.
I know. There's so much there. God, sorry. Rabbity don't.
No, it's amazing. But it's such a whirlwind story, and like that. That's your journey. It's just amazing to hear. I think my first question is going to be, how did you? When you were, I also love that it was kind of, before the internet got big, because me and Anna talk about this quite a bit, how when we started our businesses, like social media wasn't this massive thing that it is now, and you have to evolve and adapt as a business owner as the world changes. But what I was just thinking was, like, how did you get your classes so busy? Like, what were you doing because I know that people are going to be listening to this and they're going to be thinking, oh, I wish that I had 20 people in my classes. So what was it that you recall doing that was getting people to those classes?
Well, I mean, obviously I didn't invent prenatal yoga. It existed. I trained in prenatal yoga with someone else, But I think the whole vibe was very different. Back then it was all a very serious yoga, and it was only people that already did yoga that had now become pregnant and went to a class, or, and the class I went to was the least fun class I've ever went to in my life. I was ready to go home and like throw myself off a bridge after it. It was terrible. And I was like, right, well, what do I actually want when I'm pregnant here? So I wanted to meet friends. You want to meet mum friends, don't you? Because I didn't have any other friends. I had babies, so I was like, I really need some mum friends here. But it wasn't like in a class where anyone spoke to each other. So I was like, right, that has to be a big part of it. I made it accessible. I really broke it down. injected a bit of humour into the class. So it was like, yeah, this is yoga, you're going to get all the benefits, but you know what? You don't have to sit there like being totally serious. It's fine. Like, just what I wanted, just made it what I needed at that time in my life as well. So did that, but then, I mean, I was like wild with the marketing. Like I would run about with my flyers because, as you said, there wasn't much social media. So you know, I would just fire up and down the West End of Glasgow with Kaylin in the buggy and like my nappy bag full of flyers, and I would like accost mums like with flyers. But I had to be careful because I made a mistake a few times. I'd be like, you know, you have to be, because when people have just had a baby, you have to be careful not to say, oh, this is because you're pregnant, because they're like, I'm not pregnant anymore, you know, and you offend people.
Yeah.
So I'd go up with my flyers and I'd be like, oh, sorry to bother you, but this is for mums and babies. And I'd just give them a flyer and walk away. And like 9 times out of 10, you're pregnant, someone hands you something, you're going to read it, aren't you? Because you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then they would come back and speak to me or whatever. And I would go around with Kaylin as well. He was like my wee marketing prop. So Kaylin and I would go around the botanic gardens, like be like groups of mums sitting with babies, and I'd just cut them, like hammer them all with flyers and stuff. I'd go around, put them through people's doors, I'd stick them on like the front of people's cars, which I know how annoying that is, but it worked. So I just annoyed the life out of everyone that I came across that I thought would want to come. And then it was a lot of it was kind of word of mouth.
Yeah, I was going to say,
there wasn't anything. There weren't a lot of mum and baby classes at the time. There was like a wee baby massage class across the road. There was maybe like a baby sensory or something like that, but there weren't a lot. There wasn't a lot at the time. So that's what I did. Just harassed everyone that looked pregnant or had a baby.
That's
And
how to do
retros
it,
as
isn't it?
well.
You've got to be obsessed with your business. That's what we say all the time. You have to be obsessed. But I love, for me, even more than that part of it, I love how you just didn't allow any barriers to get in the way of what you wanted to do. Excuse my dog barking. You literally turned your house upside down for this passion, for this, you know, for this job. Like that's how much you wanted to do it. And I think as parents, look, I've had a couple of easy babies and I've had a very difficult baby. So I know that this isn't necessarily going to work for everybody, but you just didn't really let any of that stuff get in the way. You were like, well, we'll just turn off. We won't have a nursery or whatever. We'll use this, you know, we'll use it as a yoga studio, you know, and then, we don't really need a living room downstairs. Let's just, do you know what I mean? Like you didn't let those barriers get in the way. And I think as parents, we can make up a lot of, not excuses, but we can't see past the everyday having a baby and, you know, how could I possibly make a business work? How could I possibly, you know, be marketing and doing this stuff? But I just love this story because you didn't let any of that get in the way. But I am assuming that Kaylin was quite a relatively settled baby and kind of, or did you have those moments when you were teaching a class and he was like screaming his lungs off, you know?
Nah, he was usually really good. And the thing was, like when I was teaching in the evening and it was pregnancy yoga, you know, I'd have my wee baby monitor sitting at the front of my mat, and if he'd be like, oh, like make wee noises, everyone would be like, oh, all the pregnant mums were like, oh, bring him in. I was like, I'm not waking him up so you can all get a cuddle, you know, like they didn't bother at all. So like it's great because mums get it. And I think especially in like the mum and baby classes, you need to just be so tolerant and not make the mums feel bad, because the amount of times I took Kaelin to something and he just wanted to go through the woman's bag. He didn't want to do the taekwondo or the sensory stuff or something, you know, he just wanted to knock the shelf down. And you just have to roll with it and just try to make sure the mum doesn't feel bad about it, because we all were going, oh, everyone else's kid's been dead good and my kid's the one screaming or pooping everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I did not look back. I was like, I love this. This is going to work because I am not coming back to that office. You know, and I just loved being able to spend time with Kaelin. It'd literally be Kaelin on the boob, laptop there, you know, type my way, feeding, sugarling, like just trying to juggle it all. And the mums, I mean, it's mostly mums that come to YogaBellies, right? Like they're trained to be teachers. The teachers that have done well are just like, I'll say, look, I've done this for 15 years, right? Mm-hmm. Here are all the tools. This is exactly how I did everything. I will show you exactly how I did it myself. I did it step by step. This is what I did. If you do exactly what I tell you to do, then your business is going to work. And the girls that take all of that, take all the tools and run with it, do brilliant. But as you said, it's not laziness, but some women cannot compute like they're having the baby and working at the same time. They just can't juggle it, and it's not for everyone. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone,
No,
and it's not an
definitely
easy
not.
option. And I think, especially if you're teaching like yoga or baby massage, people go, "Oh, I'd love to do your job. You only work 2 hours a week," and you're like, "Oh, buddy, you've no idea, right? Like I teach 2 classes, but you've no idea I'm working like 60 hours in the background." And I'm working and when I'm up breastfeeding in the middle of the night and I'm doing all sorts, but it's not that you work less, it's just more flexible.
Yeah, exactly. I think
And you get to
that's
spend all
always,
that time with your little one.
Exactly. I
You get
nothing.
that, when you're working a 9 to 5 job, even if it's like 3 days a week, I did that for a little while, and it's heartbreaking, and it's so hard as well. It's like not an easy option either. You're doing all the mum stuff, you're dropping them off, they're sick, you have to take time off, all that kind of stuff. So for me, I would always choose and now of course your kids, once you've got older kids, they're just used to it. They're part of it. I mean, my 14-year-old, he edits the podcast for us. He's sort of involved in the business,
Awesome.
and they sort of used to it. And it's such a great, we're being great role models for our kids, aren't we? That they can go out there and they can follow their dreams and passions too. And they see that it isn't this easy thing that a lot of, I think, the teenagers think, oh, I can just become a influencer, or I can just become a TikTok star, or whatever it is. It does take work.
It does, and it's not all about social media. Like as you said, like when I started out, there was Facebook. I'm pretty sure I wasn't even on Instagram. YouTube was probably pretty basic. But I remember Facebook, and like I got my first teachers through putting up a Facebook ad, and I put like £2 on it a day or something. And I think I got like 5 teachers out of it because no one else was doing Facebook ads. There were no Facebook ads, and then people were like, "What's that? That looks awesome." So and I've still got some of those teachers with me. So
that's amazing. And I think what's your experience of, like, how do you adapt and change as the world adapts and changes around you? Because I think that's something that a lot of business owners, once they kind of get going and they get in a flow and like the clients are coming in, it's going really well, and then all of a sudden that's whatever they're doing stops working, and they keep trying to do the same thing over and over again, but it's not working. So there's something missing there, and it's usually that they're not taking notice of perhaps what's going on in the world or what's changed technology wise, etc., and they need to adapt, review, and kind of change what they're doing. So like how have you coped with that over the years? Has that been a challenge for you?
Well, yeah, because you're all, I mean, you know what it's like when you've got a wee business.
Yeah.
You are everything. You're the marketing person, the sales person, the yoga teacher trainer. You're doing all the stuff. Like, I remember I used to have a brand of teas, like herbal teas for mums, and like Mike and I used to make them in the kitchen and put the labels on the things and everything. And I'm like, how did we even find time to do that stuff, And it's just mad, but that's what you do, isn't it? You just do it all yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, a big difference. I did my degree in marketing and languages, so I knew, and I had worked in industry, I had a kind of good background in that. But marketing, when I was at uni, like I graduated in 2000, it's completely different now. So, like having to learn about Instagram and all that, it's just crazy, having to do all these things. So having to catch up with all these things, but I think you need to keep learning as well. So like I've got a business mentor and she's brilliant on Instagram, because that was something I kind of struggled with. I was like, I just found it more of a chore. But now I actually find I get so much business from Instagram now that I'm not just like sticking up a photo and going, happy yoga day or something, like actually making posts that mean something and its value, as opposed to like posting every day, maybe doing it twice a week, and it's like, actually this is something you're going to use, you're going to want to save. So I think really keeping on top of these things is important, but also keeping on top of what other businesses are doing as well. So I would say probably, I would definitely, YogaBellies was the first of its kind, kind of pre and postnatal and baby yoga, and now there's like tummy yoga and like about 50 different variations of YogaBellies name, right? But that's fine, that's how it works. So like you need to keep on top of it, obviously what your competitors are doing as well, but I think that's brilliant, because there's room for everyone, and everyone's going to do it slightly different. But you need to be aware of what other people are doing, and I'll look at other yoga schools and I'm like, oh, that's cool, they're doing that, like, oh, maybe that's something we could do. And it's like you really need to keep up with what everyone's doing and so much of what we do with the teacher training is online now as well, because obviously that kind of started with COVID. But it went so well because most of our clients have got young kids or they're pregnant. Now, we were doing trainings in Glasgow and London. So wherever you were going to have to travel there, right? And it was like 3 days every month. And it's a lot. You've got flights, you've got accommodation, you've got your dinners, and it's the time and getting that away from your kids. And I was like, this is just totally conflicts with the whole thing that we're trying to do here, right? And it meant there was women that just couldn't do it because of that time commitment. But doing it online is brilliant. It's like everything's recorded as well. So if they miss it, they can go back. It works with all the different time zones. They can come on live. If they want, we're on live every single week of the year. So all the teachers can come on. We'll go through the physical practice. We'll talk about their personal development as well. So from a yoga perspective, from, looking, obviously, I'm training to be a psychotherapist. So we do a lot of shadow work and kind of looking at what's holding them back personally, what's going on for them. But yoga is very much not the physical practice. It's about, right, okay, so this is what you're teaching your ladies in class. What they're going to do with that in real life. I don't want them to go home and go out that door and be stressed. Again, like, what's the point in that? It's like, it's not just that hour. So what can they actually take out with them? And the same for my teachers. So before my teachers even step in a mat, we spend like the whole first month, right, what's going on with you? Why have you not done this before? What do you still need to work on? What's going to stop you being successful at this? And we dig up all the shit and we deal with that. Am I allowed to swear? Sorry. Right, we dig it all up and we start dealing with that, because I think that before we get on a yoga mat and start trying to teach other people something, we should be doing it ourselves and working on ourselves. And it's not about being perfect or being more spiritual than other people, but it's about saying, look, do you know what, I'm a normal person as well and I have flaws and I'm working on them, and this is how you can work on them as well.
Yeah, amazing. I love that really holistic approach that you have to your training. And it seems like that really runs through all of your business. And you mentioned how, over the years, there's been other training programs that have, kind of popped up. And, I've experienced that in my other business as well. And you have to do competitor analysis. You have to look and you have to say, what are they doing? What are we doing? Because you always have to keep your own USP and what makes you different. And so, what do you think makes you different in the marketplace?
Well, I seem to come up with ideas and all the other people copy it. So that seems to be what the difference is. Like, I've literally had a business take the copy and paste the words off my website word for word and put it on there. So I was like, oh my God.
No, that's just
copy my logos, just mad stuff. This is just stuff that happens. It's fine, I get it, right? So
it's terrible, though. That is terrible.
Well, originally one of the best. What can I say? We've just been doing it for so long. We've been doing it for so long, and I'm really fussy about the teachers that I bring on as well.
Yeah,
I've spoke to teachers that have been doing it for 20, 30 years, and they've wanted to join, and I'm like, this is not for you, because maybe they've been doing it and they've not been making much money and they're too concerned about the money side of it. Of course, we've all got bills to pay. We want to make some money, right?
Yeah.
But you need to be focused on supporting women. And I think you need to be, if you're going to teach pre and postnatal yogas, you need to have a real interest in that stage of life. Yeah. You need to be invested in that. Or my ladies that are teaching menopause yoga, they need to be, it doesn't mean you need to be in menopause or you need to be pregnant, but you need to have a genuine love and interest of working with and supporting people, because it is hard work. It's exhausting, taking on everyone's energy in that class.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's the passion. They've got to have the passion there, because as well as we know, that it's that passion and drive that's going to get you through the tricky times in business, like help you build it up, help you keep pushing through when you're not getting the clients or your I don't know, whatever's happened, your yoga studio prices have gone through the roof or whatever. It's, you've got to, if you haven't got that passion there, you're just not going to find solutions and keep making it work. And then and also it spreads out to the people you're working with. It sounds like that yoga class you went to in your pregnancy, like she was just running through some like just standard yoga practice and not even thinking about the stage that people were at necessarily.
Yeah, and it's all there was, so everyone went to it. So I think as well, as we were saying, like, running your own business is not for everyone. And sometimes, like being a yoga teacher as well, people don't equate that with running a business. There's no point in people paying a lot of money and investing to be a yoga teacher if they think it doesn't involve any work. So I'll be like, yes, you can do it part-time, right? You can teach 2-3 classes a week. But if you're teaching 2-3 classes, you're still going to work 15-20 hours minimum. Doesn't mean you're working 2-3 hours. And I need my teachers to have 2 hats, like yoga teacher hat and yoga business owner hat. And you can't have one without the other if you want to actually make a career of this and not have to go back to your full-time job. Otherwise, you're just stuffed. But I'll tell them exactly how to do it, how to run the classes, how to price the classes, how to work their booking, so that they will be able to make a sustainable income from it, because that is the difference between a YogaBellies teacher and any other yoga teacher that's making no money. And I find that the biggest worry of teachers is, oh, there's someone in the park teaching yoga for £2, right? And you're like, I'm always like, do not discount your prices, do not try and compete with that, because that person's not going to be there in 3 months' time. Do not get into a price war with other small businesses, right? That person, like 100% of the time, that person is not there in 3 months' time. What are you going to do? If you get 10 people and it's £2 each, that's 20 quid. You can't
Not sustainable.
20 quid, you know? It's not sustainable. So, but every once in a while we'll get one of the teachers like, oh, this girl, she's set up. And, you know, it worries us all, you know, when someone else sets up. But you just have to be confident in what you're offering and know that you've had brilliant training, you're the best person at what you do, and just establish yourself as the go-to person for whatever it is you do in your area, so that everyone knows and they trust you. And it is a lot about trust when you're working with women, especially at these vulnerable life stages as well.
100%. I really
don't discount your prices and start doing all that.
Totally agree. Yeah. What so in all these years of business, Cheryl, you've shared so much already, but what would you say would be your number one biggest lesson that you've learned over the years?
If you can get a business mentor that can help you, like what you guys are doing, then absolutely go for it. Because you know, when I said, when I was starting out, there was no one that had really done it the way I had done it. So I had to make it up on my own. So, and that's what I give to my yoga teachers. It's like, okay, this is exactly what you do. So you don't have to go and do what I did, which was making loads of mistakes the expensive way. But I can tell them what not to do as well, you know, and that's like what you guys are doing. So if they can find someone that can be like, right, look, I've done that, don't do it. Or this is the best way to do this, the quickest, the fastest, and give them the tools to do it, then that I would have paid a lot of money to do that. If I could have saved myself a lot of time and heartache and money. Because I think people think, oh, I'm paying this investment for a mentor or whatever, that's a lot of money. And people with small businesses don't like to invest. They don't like to say, I'm putting this money in. But you put that money in, you're going to get it back 10 times over. You go for the cheapy course, you're going to get cheapy results. You're not going to get all the stuff. That's the reason it's £5, you know. But if you invest in yourself, you need to invest in yourself as a business. So if you don't know about how to run a business, you don't know how to do your accounts, you don't know how to do marketing, then go to someone that bloody well does know how to do it and they can help you, because you can't do it all.
Totally agree. And we've heard that, haven't we? Like, it's quite, it's something that we kind of, you know, we know about our own journeys as well. Like we've often said that a coach or a mentor can really just accelerate your business development and your growth. Definitely done holistically and properly as well. Because I think there's got to be, you've got to put the foundations in for your business as well before you can go with the growth. Otherwise, you're not creating that stability. And some of the other interviews that we've done for this series, we've heard the same thing, haven't we, Anna? With people saying, you know, having a coach and having a mentor is just one of the most powerful ways of growing and expanding yourself and your business. So I definitely really agree with that. This is probably something that you do all the time, but I'm just wondering, you know, if a birth or baby business owner stood in front of you right now and they're pretty new to this industry and they want to create an impactful, sustainable business, and let's say they're a parent as well. So what's the one piece of advice, you know, other than maybe getting a mentor or a coach, what's the one piece of advice that you could give them that they could go away and like implement into their business that would make a difference?
I think probably the most important thing, especially with something like pregnancy and birth and babies, you need to be authentic, because mums can tell 100 miles away if you don't care.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you need to really be passionate about what you do, and people will see that. They will know just from speaking to you how much you love what you're doing, and keep learning about what you're doing, because you're never going to know it all. So keep learning, not just about the business side, but whatever you do, whether it's hypnobirthing or baby massage or doula or whatever it is you do, keep learning and become the expert. And I think a really important thing as well, just don't just rely on the internet. And I've had people in the past go, oh, I just spent 500 quid in this Facebook ad or something, like, and then that's it. They think they've done their marketing. You're like, you can't do that, buddy. Like, you have to get your shoes on and go out and speak to people and network with the local reflexologist and the pregnancy massage person and the local midwife. You know, you need to be known to people. You can't just sit behind your computer all day. You've got to get out there and speak to people.
Definitely.
So, yeah. But again, if you have a mentor or someone that's done it before, they're going to be able to tell you, don't spend 500 quid in a Facebook ad or some GP magazine or something that no one's going to look at, and that's your whole budget for the year going. Like, we've all done that, right? I remember doing it.
Yeah.
But if you've got a mentor, you can be like, hold, don't do that. Spend all of that in flyers and get your shoes on and go out and give it to people and have conversations about what you're doing and show people that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, sometimes the old-fashioned marketing really does shine through, doesn't
100%.
it? Getting out there, meeting people face to face. If you're doing in-person classes, we always say this, don't we, Anne? If you're doing in-person classes, you need to get out there and meet people in person.
Absolutely.
Definitely makes it makes
want a connection.
Yeah.
People, especially like new mums, like they can't get out of the house. When they're out of the house, they want to have a connection with someone.
Yeah,
it's so important what we do. You know, working with this kind of with the pregnancy and baby field, it's so important. And we don't live in big communities like the village like we used to with your aunt and your cousin and going in and out each other's house and all this. Most of us live in the city away from our family, or 8,500 miles away, you know, and you've got nobody. So like they really need that. It is a family for them.
100%.
So I think get your shoes on, go out and speak to people.
I love that. Get your shoes on, off you go, definitely.
Yep.
Oh, Cheryl, it's so great to speak to you. I don't want the conversation to end, but it's been great to speak to you guys. I've really enjoyed it. I can't not ask this. I'm doing this completely out of order now, but I need to ask the Dragon's Den experience. Was it terrifying? Like, because I don't know, my only comparison of this is writing a book and putting a book out there in the world, and people you know, once it's out there, there's nothing you can do. So I was just wondering if your experience of Dragon Den was the same. Was it like, so nerve-wracking?
It was terrifying. Well, there was, like, as I said, there was 9 months between finding out what were going on and them actually filming it. And like every other week, like Mike and I sat and watched every Dragon's Den that was ever on the TV, right? And Mike was like sitting writing all the questions down because he's really methodical, right? And he's like writing down every question so they had an answer for everything, which is why I took him on, right? And so we watched them all, but then every other day somebody would wake up and go, I can't do this, I'm not going on. That's it. So it was either be me or him having a panic attack going, I can't do this. Because you'd watch Dragon's Den, someone would get ripped to bits and you'd be like, oh no. Right, that's going to be us. They're going to want numbers off me and I'm stuffed, right? I can't do that. So, but then we went on and they couldn't have been any nicer. They were like so lovely. And like you only see 15 minutes in the TV, but you're there for about an hour and a half and you're just standing there in front of them and like, we're maybe about half an hour in that and you're just standing waiting for them to start shouting. And I was like, is this going well? Like no one shouted at us. Everyone's being really nice to us. And then I was like, this is going all right. So we were just like, because we went in there ready to get, you know, ripped apart, and we were just stunned. We were like, oh my God, it went well and we got an offer and wow. It was just awesome. It was brilliant. It was such a good experience.
Oh, that is amazing. Definitely. And I think, you know, it shows that you've got to push through the fear and do it anyway. Imagine if you'd woken up one morning and scared, and then just you and Mike both went, yeah, let's not do it. Like that could have just changed.
That was literally every day.
But if you stuck to it, That would so be me. I'd be like, I'm not doing it, no way. But the fact that you just push through that fear is a lesson to business owners as well, isn't it, really? That not everything feels comfortable in business. In fact, like, you know, most of the time when you're doing new stuff and you're scaling or growing, it feels so uncomfortable. But you get to the other side and you get all the rewards, which is what you did with Dragon's Den. So it's amazing.
I think a big thing for me was like when I first started getting like bits of press and being in magazines and stuff like that. I didn't want to share it because I was like, people will think I'm boasting.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to like totally change my mindset and be like, right, this is not me boasting about me. This is me talking about my business. So I had to just put a totally different mindset on and go like, I'm not saying look what Cheryl did. I'm like, this is what the business is doing and it's awesome. Right. It's not about, but it wasn't about me. It's about all the women involved.
Yeah.
So you need to shout about what you're doing though, or no one's going to see it. What's the point in being in the Daily Mail if no one sees it? You know, like you've got to put it out there.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
That's really, really important. I think as women, we all have a bit of imposter syndrome and we don't want to tell people. We're like, we don't want people to think we're getting too big for our boots and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's really important that you just switch it off. It's not about you, it's about your business, and just think about it like that.
Definitely. That's another good. Right?
So
dropping these advice bombs.
Oh, thanks for sharing all that,
so much
Cheryl.
for having me on. Thank you.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Could you tell everyone, it will go in the show notes as well, but if you could just share where we can find you and what you're doing at the moment.
Yep, so you can find me on YogaBellies.com, and we do all of our YogaBellies teacher training online now. It runs over 6 months, but you can join anytime. We cover all the women's life stages, so yoga for the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, postpartum, with and without baby massage and menopause. So we go all the way through, and it's all online and completely accessible to ladies everywhere.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a brilliant conversation.
So much, guys. It's been awesome. It's just been lovely speaking to you both.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And
thanks so much, guys.
Anybody who's been watching this on YouTube or listening to the podcast and you've enjoyed it, please do drop a comment, like and subscribe, or follow on your favourite podcast provider. Leave a review because we'd love to know if you like these episodes and if they're helpful. And thanks for listening. Bye.
See you next time. Bye. Great.